Hello, I'm Kevin Box. I'm the Director of Management Services with Function4. I'm joined here with Paul Perez, the Director of Production Print with Function4. And Paul, what makes the difference when it comes to printing in the customer experience?
Yeah, so at this point, a lot of the manufacturers make similar equipment. Just about all the manufacturers can produce a quality image. What the difference really isn't the machine itself, it's more so the service and service technicians that take care of that machine after the fact.
So Paul, tell me why the technician is so important to the kind of service that we provide here at Function4.
Yeah, absolutely. So our technicians are really the face of our organization. They meet with our customers and communicate with customers daily. They receive incredible reviews from customers after service calls. And what we have are really guys that run to the fire whenever there's a complex issue. They're not afraid to go the extra mile to make sure a customer is taken care of.
So Paul, can we bring in a couple of technicians to get some more insight in terms of their experience with working at Function4?
Yeah, absolutely. I've got a couple in mind that I think would be great for that.
Outstanding. Function4 has been in business for over 40 years, and a big part of that has been our service. That's what's helped us to grow. It's been the cornerstone of our business. John and Harold are simply a microcosm of the Function4 core values, how they interact with customers, and how they take customers as a priority in terms of what's going on with them, their problems, their needs. Paul Perez, our Director of Production Print, sits down with John and Harold to gain more insight in terms of their day-to-day activities and how working for Function4 has impacted them both personally and professionally.
So John, thanks for joining us. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name is John Brown. I've been doing production or doing copier repair for a little over 20 years. Been doing production specifically for about 15 years. I've worked with Konica Minolta, the manufacturer, as well as many dealerships from California here to Houston.
All right, so tell us a story about one of your most satisfying interactions with the customer.
We had a customer, they had one of our flagship machines, and it was the first time they had ever had a machine of that as complex as that one was. And so there was some learning, it was a steep learning curve. And in time, they moved on to a different vendor. And I felt kind of bad about that because I was the primary technician. I saw them most of the time. And so I was asking myself, is there something I could have done differently to retain this customer, for the company to retain them? But a year or so later, they called me and they said that they realized that with the vendor that they had, they weren't getting the same level of service and the same level of knowledge, and they wanted to come back home. And so it was kind of vindication, but it really just kind of made me feel good that they appreciated all the hard work and they wanted to come back.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks for sharing. Tell us a little bit about what you enjoy most about your day.
I would say the travel. I do enjoy the travel aspect of it. I mean, as a technician, I go from location to location. And so we have customers all the way up in the Woodlands, all the way down to Galveston. And so it's nice to be able to, you're in one location for a couple of hours and then to just get a change of scenery and see different parts of town. So I've gotten the privilege of seeing most of Houston, and I've come to love Houston. And just seeing different areas, I've even actually taken my family on trips to different places that I've seen en route to service calls. So the travel aspect is pretty cool.
So Harold, thanks so much for being here. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Harold Brown. I've been in the printing industry for 27 years. As I think back, I started out as an entry-level tech. And I think within 2 years, I was a senior tech. Then I got into management, field supervisor, and then a service manager. I've done a lot of different things, but one of the things I enjoy the most is just working with the customer and taking care of the product. So that's a little bit about me.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks for sharing. Tell us a little bit about what you enjoy most about your day.
I really enjoy helping people. I realize that what I do is I solve problems every day. And so the challenges that comes with complex problems or simple problems and just be able to resolve them and walk away where everything is okay, that's one of the most rewarding feelings I've enjoyed.
Yeah. So what do you think is the most important part of the customer interaction?
I would have to say communication. Communication is the most important thing. There's a phrase that there is frustration when there's no communication. So in the service business, when you communicate with your customer, you let them know what time you're going to be there. When you get on site, you talk to them, you listen to them. Sometimes they're frustrated, and they need to vent, so you allow them to vent about whatever the situation is. And then the second piece I would say is if you sell confidence and you assure them that no matter whatever the problem is, it's going to be taken care of, that goes a long way with the customer. I've experienced it in the service industry, and I know how it feels. And when you do things like that, you build strong relationships with your customer. They know when they call and they get a Harold or another technician that do those type of things, they know they're going to get good service, and they stick with you.
All right, so tell us a story about one of your most satisfying interactions with the customer.
Okay, this one was not too long ago. We have a customer that we take care of, and they had bought a brand new piece of equipment. It was one of the flagship equipment. And the technician that was working on it is one of our best technicians. And there was some trouble trying to figure out what was going on with this particular product. He was utilizing the tools that he's given, the troubleshooting guides, the technical databases, the tech support. And I remember saying that with the two of us going out there, I don't care what happens, we're going to get it fixed. So we arrived at the counter about 10:30 in the morning, and we're looking at this complex problem, thinking maybe it may take a few hours, maybe 4 hours to resolve. We didn't leave till after midnight. So the thing about it is when we left, it was fixed. So we felt so good. It was such a reward. So what I learned from that and I appreciate about Function4 is they gave us the resources. They didn't say, well, hey, we'll pay you till 5 o'clock. And then if you can't get it resolved by 5, come the next day. They allowed us to stay till after midnight. And not only that, but the customer was taken care of. And when the customer came in the next day and heard that 2 guys were there till midnight, you can imagine how it made them feel. So it's moments like that that makes it all worth it for me.
So what do you appreciate most about working for Function4?
I've really enjoyed my experience with Function4. I really appreciate the company. Specifically, I think about I've had some personal tragedies in my life since I've been with the company. For instance, my home was flooded during Hurricane Harvey. And the company, I didn't know this, but they went out and bought several industrial fans. They bought high volume dehumidifiers and even provided financial assistance, even though I didn't ask for it. And they did all of this out of the goodwill of their heart. And so those kind of things you don't forget. And so what it's done for me is it makes me feel like I want to be the best tech and do the best I can to continue to build the company.